The new Human Rights Act Consultation explained, a British Institute of Human Rights news piece published on December 15, 2021. The Human Rights Act was in the news yesterday on the 14th of December 2021 because the government published a long-awaited report by the Independent Human Rights Act Review, and alongside the report released a new consultation paper setting out the plans for how they want to replace the Human Rights Act with a UK Bill of Rights. We've put together a summary of what's happened so far and what might happen next. The history of human rights law. The Human Rights Act is a UK law that was passed by the UK Parliament in 1998. It became law in October 2000. Before that, there was, and there still is, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the European Convention on Human Rights. These are all connected and they share the same core values. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, is a set of rules agreed upon by governments all over the world after World War II. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is not legally binding, but the rules have since been made law in lots of countries. The European Convention on Human Rights, also known as IHRAR, and the Convention, is an agreement made in the 1950s. It's based on the rules in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and signed by all of the governments in the Council of Europe, including the UK. If a government doesn't look after a citizen's rights, that citizen can take their case to the European Court of Human Rights. This is separate from the European Union. It are still a member of the Council of Europe. The Human Rights Act 1998 is a UK law that means public bodies have to look after human rights included in the European Convention of Human Rights, and UK judges must consider the European Convention of Human Rights whenever they make decisions. The Human Rights Act was passed by Parliament with cross-party support. It was introduced when Tony Blair was the Prime Minister. He said he wanted to bring these rights in the European Convention of Human Rights home and give people in the United Kingdom opportunities to enforce their rights under the European Convention in British courts, rather than having to incur the cost and delay of taking a case to the European Human Rights Commission and the court in Strasbourg. So what's happened so far? Well, in 2005, when Michael Howard was the leader of the Conservatives, he complained about a rights culture created by the Human Rights Act and the protection of special interest groups. During his campaign, he said that if the Act can't be improved, it will be scrapped. His campaign was criticised by lots of people in the UK, targeting ethnic minorities, specifically travellers and asylum seekers. In 2006, when David Cameron was the leader of the Conservatives, he said he wanted a UK Bill of Rights instead of the Human Rights Act. During the Labour government, key figures also publicly criticised the Human Rights Act, with Jack Straw, the then Justice Secretary, telling the media that he was greatly frustrated by the way that the courts sometimes interpret the Act. In 2009, the Labour government launched a consultation on the rights and responsibilities, developing our constitutional framework, looking at a new constitutional settlement. In 2010, Labour lost their place as the ruling party. The coalition government, led by David Cameron, put together an independent team of people known as the Commission on a Bill of Rights to investigate the idea of creating this bill. The Commission published a consultation which BIHR responded to. You can find that response on our website. It was decided at this time that a Bill of Rights wasn't needed because the UK already had a Bill of Rights in the shape of the 1998 Human Rights Act. In 2015, the Conservative Party set out in their manifesto that they would scrap the Human Rights Act and curtail the role of the European Court of Human Rights so that foreign criminals can be more easily deported from Britain. The Conservative Party won that election with a very small majority of 11 seats. In 2019, the Conservative government, now a majority government led by Boris Johnson, said that a statement about leaving the European Union, that it would respect the frameworks of the European Convention of human rights. This statement was not legally binding, but was agreed between the UK and the European Union. However, the government said that they would wait until after the UK had left the European Union before considering it fully. This made a lot of people worried that they would change their mind about respecting the European Convention of Human Rights. So what are the current government plans? In December 2020, the government set up the Independent Human Rights Act Review Panel to see how the Act is working and whether it needs to change. In January 2021, Joint Committee on Human Rights, also known as JCHR, had also put out a call for evidence in relation to the Human Rights Act review. This was so that they could use the information they gathered in their response to the panel. They also used the information as part of their own inquiry into the Human Rights Act. BIHR's response to the JCHR's review, full and easy read versions, can also be found on our website. The Joint Committee of Human Rights published their report on the findings of their inquiry in June 2021. In October 2021, the panel wrote a report on their findings and sent it to government. And on the 14th of December 2021, this report was published on the gov.uk website. You can read the full report, which is 580 pages, and an executive summary, which is 28 pages, on either our website through clicking the link or on the gov.uk website. On the same day the panel's report was published, the government released a consultation paper containing their suggestions of ways to change the Human Rights Act. They want to replace it with the Bill of Rights. Whilst the consultation paper refers to the independent review report, the proposals go much further than the review suggested. Yesterday, on the 14th of December, the government showed this consultation paper to the public. They asked for people to respond to it by sending in their opinions and suggested changes. People have until 8th of March 2022 to respond. What happens next? The law has not changed, and the proposals in the consultation paper are not final. The government's Code of Practice on Consultation says that a consultation paper should not be put out if everything is already settled, because the responses should influence the policy. In March 2022, the consultation will end. After this, the government will then publish a report summing up responses. They will also have to do an impact assessment, which checks how many changes will affect different groups of people. If the government does then want to change the Human Rights Act, it has to propose a bill containing the actual wording of the new law. This has to be voted on both the House of Commons and the House of Lords before it can become law. It will also be scrutinised by the Joint Committee on Human Rights as part of this process. This means that it is important that as many people as possible who care about human rights respond to the consultation so that their voices are heard before any decisions are made about their rights. At BIHR, we are working on explainers that will simplify the information in both the report and the consultation paper to make it easier for everyone to understand and respond. We'll add links to this page as and when they are ready. In the meantime, you can read our director, Sanchita's statement on the government proposals by clicking the link on this page. You can also read a news story about what BIHR's thoughts are on this by clicking the link. You can also join our Human Rights Act mailing list. If you join the list, we will keep you up to date on the latest news and any actions that you can take to show our political leaders why the Human Rights Act matters.